good example here are the guys from 2nd Ranger Battalion who decided to rob a bank.
When did this happen?
Oh, you didn't know about this?
No.
This was 2006 or 7. Yeah. Two, I think it was E4s and one E3, along with one of the guy's buddies, decided to rob a bank in Tacoma the day we signed out on block leave.
They just wanted some petty cash.
Right. You know, it's funny. Kind of goes to the end of the story. If every one of those Rangers had just re-enlisted for 4 years, their bonuses would have been more than they got out of the bank. And this is Tacoma, Washington as well. Like Pierce County Sheriff, Tacoma PD, tons of ex-Rangers.
For sure.
In those police forces. So we got to hear flawless execution.
I was going to say, how are their tactics?
Flawless actions on. Actions on were fucking, it was like heat. They were great. Commanded the room in and out. I think they were in and out, in under that whatever magic minute or whatever it is. They used one of the guy's dad's cars and didn't cover the license plates. So some little old lady in tennis shoes walking across the other side of the street looks over and sees guys wearing body armor, carrying AKs, which they brought home from Iraq, and ski masks, and was like, that looks weird. And wrote down the license plate number to the car.
You're done right there.
Yep. So, yeah, that the 275 bank robbery is a funny fucking story. So, I was an E7. I was waiting to take my platoon. So I just done a deployment as a squad leader. My sergeant major at the time was awesome. He let me be a squad leader as an E7. Came home. Well, my best buddy in battalion at the time was the ringleader's squad leader.
Oh, fuck.
So the way it worked then the entire battalion would sign out on leave at the same time so that we could all come back and then go into whatever next part of the jorts was for us. So you would sign out generally at like 9 or 10 in the morning, and everybody kind of goes to the four winds. To include me and my buddy, me and him and a couple other guys were like, we're going to go to Vegas for the first fucking few days of leave. So we go, hop on a plane, get to Vegas, go to our hotel, and then this was the very early cell phone days. So I had like a shitty flip phone or whatever.
With probably 60 minutes for the month.
Yeah. And he had the same. And, but also like you didn't give a fuck about your cell phone. Like, right. You just left it in your room or whatever. So we get to Vegas. We're like, let's fucking go tie it on. So we go down, we were staying at the Hard Rock. We go down, start boozing it up, get pretty hammered, get back. And our fucking cell phone's got 20 missed calls. And he calls back his platoon sergeant. And I remember his face, and he's like, what? What the fuck? Because it took the cops, and the FBI was involved because it's
that's a federal crime for sure.
It took them about 2 hours to find out who these guys were. And then they fucking swarmed the Charlie Company 275 barracks, which is where these guys were from. Went into the ceiling tiles, found demo, frags, guns, and all the money bands. So then, of course, they're like, okay, who else is involved here, right? So he calls about, he gets off the phone, he's like, dude, fucking Sommer robbed a fucking bank. And I'm like, holy shit. Dude, no kidding. Like, it was like some shit out of a TV show. Like, right then. On our fucking hotel room door.
No way.
Yeah. Open the door and it's two fucking FBI agents. And they're like, hey, are you Mike Jones? And they weren't looking for me. They were looking for him because he was in the same. And he's like, what's up? And we're hammered, dude. We're fucking hammered drunk. And we're like making light of it. We're like, holy fuck, they robbed a bank? That's bitching, And these FBI agents were really, really, really not happy with how we were reacting to the news.
Yeah, slightly less bitching to them.
Yeah, but we, showed them our fucking plane tickets or whatever, so we had an airtight alibi.
Yeah. How do they end up rolling these dudes up?
Oh, man, there's a whole other... So they rolled up all the other guys minus the ringleader, whose name was Sommer. Sommer had dual citizenship was Canadian and American dual citizen. he immediately went to Canada. So he made it to Canada.
Which is not far from Tacoma.
Right.
You could just hop on the 5.
Yeah, like 2.5 hour drive. So he immediately went there. Then he told the Canadian government he wanted political asylum because he robbed the bank to get enough attention to shed light on the war crimes that were taking place in Iraq.
Oh, fuck.
But then Canada was like, fuck off, and they extradited him, and it was a thing. Well, when they were all locked up, there was one guy that went with him who was super brand new. He'd been in battalion for like that deployment. He'd been in battalion for like 4 or 5 months. Which when you're that new and you go on a deployment, you basically deploy and you take out the trash and you sweep the floor. Maybe you'll get to go out on a mission as like a turret gunner or something.
Yeah.
But Sommer talked this kid into going on the bank robbery. Well, he's like an 18-year-old fucking punk kid. So of course the cops get in there and they're like, we're going to put you in a cell with a guy who's going to fuck you until, you die or whatever. So he's like, and he just flipped on everybody. So he then testified against Sommer, who got a lot of time. He got like 30 years or something like that. Well, again, this shit's like out of a movie. They were both locked up in something island. It's a prison in Washington, federal prison in Washington. It's like Little Alcatraz. It was there before Alcatraz. It's an island in the Puget Sound. For whatever reason, they were both in that prison. Sommer was in a different thing. Sommer faked like being sick and went to the infirmary and then broke out of the infirmary and went to this dude's block and fucking stabbed him.
No shit.
Yeah.
Did he die?
No, he didn't die. But then Sommer got.
Probably even more time.
Yeah, he's going to die in prison now. Yeah. And I think that the other kid whose name escapes me, he's out now. He got out. And he wrote a book called Ranger Games, which is definitely been optioned by somebody to make. And if it hasn't, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with the world, because that's, I mean, I don't know.
I want to make that movie.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but when I was in Ranger Town, we would watch Heat and be like, fuck, we could do that, like, or Point Break or whatever.
Bro,
and you're like,
the amount of time that we spent talking about robbing businesses. But like in Coronado, Orange Avenue comes right down. They're like, hey man, like, what do you think about putting a 60 up on top of this building? We could just take the long axis down this road. I'm like, fuck yeah, we'll put another one up over here. Yeah. We'll get a small assault team to go right through the front door.
Yeah. The thing we always leave out of that is like, all right, we may have to murder some cops or, some just regular people.
We got to go in there and assert our dominance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck.
But yeah, guys really did it. And like I said, I think they got out of there with like 60 grand or something. Like if they'd all just re-enlisted for 4 years, they would have.
Goddamn nosy grandma across the street.
I know.